Hi, Rachel. How's it going? I see that you're on the same beach as I am.
I know, but we're socially distant.
We're
At
totally
least 6 feet apart on the same beach.
and we're gonna put our face masks back on. So, oh, you have it. Yeah.
Oh, you were kidding.
Oh, my face masks are far away. So this is What to Read This Weekend with Marie Southwell and Rachel Green returning as your fabulous hosts. And this week's theme is Hot Summer Reads. Go through. So all of our books that we talk about are available immediately. Yeah, what else do we want to say? You can watch this.
We meet every week.
Every week.
And we are excited to have Marie back from her vacation.
But Jen did an awesome job. I watched that one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yay. And we share a few books on a theme. So this week's theme is Hot Summer Reads. Basically, our favorite books that we've been dying to talk about that are available that we haven't yet shared.
Right. It's sort of, they're all very hot for this summer. All right.
So the first one is The Crossover by Kwame Alexander, and this is available as an audiobook on Audible Stories, and it's available as an ebook and an audiobook on Sora, which we'll talk about at the end. We introduced it last week, but we'll share it again. The Crossover is actually the first book in a series of books that Kwame Alexander wrote that are all written in verse. And The Crossover is about Josh, who is a twin, and he is navigating life with his twin brother and his dad, who was a famous basketball player or professional basketball player, and his mom, who is like kind of a very strict, she's the principal of the school. And so it talks about Josh and his twin brother, Jordan, or JB, and just them navigating life on and off the court. Something I thought was really cool about this book is that each of the chapter, like it's split up into like sections, like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
Fun.
Like a basketball game. And all of the poetry is in like a slightly different format. So I thought that was really cool. So I think you would like it. You know, I know nothing about basketball and I would not consider myself a sports person. And there was some like sports jargon in this book, but I thought the poetry was cool enough that even if you're not into sports, I think it would be enjoyable. So that's The Crossover.
Do we say this Akata? Akata witch?
I thought it was Akata witch, but
I always say it Akata. It's Akata. I think maybe it's Akata witch. Akata witch is one of my favorites, and kind of like a new. Well, let me back up. So, Akata witch is basically my 30-second summary. Is if Wakanda and Harry Potter had a baby, it would be this book. Okay, so it's like
so much better.
But it's like very Harry Potter in the way that there's like a magical world that exists outside, and you were either part of the wizarding world or you're a muggle. And in this book, you're either part of the leopard people or you're the lamb people. And very much for Sunny, like Harry, Sunny kind of accidentally discovers her powers, and she's swept up into this magical world that she learns how to cross into the magic world, kind of like, you know, in Harry Potter. The reasons I love it is it takes all the myths and magic of Nigeria and just creates this really amazing, immersive world that you don't want to stop reading about. Now, the first part of the book is like Sunny sort of discovering all about all herself. So you get to learn, like, instead of a wand, she has a juju knife, and how she learns to use a juju knife. And the second part of the book is based around finding this killer who kidnaps children and maims them. And so there's like a whole, they've got to use their magic to stop this evil killer, a little bit like Harry Potter. So
or Wakanda.
You know, yes. So it's very Nigerian, that I really liked about it. It does give you like a feel of the culture, like what they ate, all of that is there. So I would say you must read it. I super enjoyed it. Yes.
I read this one, but I haven't read the sequel, even though I own it. So maybe I should read the sequel.
Well, it's kind of like, the sequel is good too. The sequel is much more, maybe more action, but that's good too.
Okay.
There's another evilness running around in the world they have to conquer.
I will get on that. The next book is On the Come Up. This one was really, really popular in my school library, but I noticed that there are plenty of copies, ebook copies at New York Public and audiobook copies from Brooklyn Public. The reverse is also there, but those were the ones that are readily available without a wait. And On the Come Up is, if you read The Hate You Give, this is the same author, but it actually takes place in the same city, but it's a totally different storyline. You do not have to read one before you read the other. They are not really connected.
Isn't it a different year even?
It's what?
Isn't it a different year on the Come Up? Is it the present? This was a deep dive question.
It's The Hate You Give, it's also the present.
Well, I thought this was like more in the past because of the rap.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's in the present.
I
think you're thinking of Let Me Hear a Rhyme.
Oh.
So if you liked Let Me Hear a Rhyme from last week that I book talked, you would also really like On the Come Up, which features Bree as our main character, and she is an up-and-coming rapper. Her dad was a underground hip-hop legend who unfortunately passed away before he kind of like made it, and so Bree has these like aspirations to kind of fill the shoes that her dad left. And there are some like really cool rap battles situations, but I just really love like Bree's like very true nature of like sticking to herself and like what she wants, and it has a little bit of like some pro-feminist vibes, and I just think Angie Thomas has a great teen voice. Like her stories are just really authentic teen voices. It's clear that she spends a lot of time with teens. So I think if you liked Let Me Hear a Rhyme from last week, you would like this. If you liked, what else? I don't know. If you're into hip hop, you would like it. If you like
The Hate You Give, you'll like this too.
Yeah, I think it's still about like fighting for your dreams. It's still about
urban vibe.
Yeah, like kind of fighting against the odds, and taking a chance on yourself. I think that you would really like On the Come Up. So yeah. And our last choice is
Hello, Ms. Marvel. So, this is the dog on the beach. Dog on the beach, stop. Shh. He does not allow people in the hall, our dog. So Ms. Marvel, all right, here's what happens. Kamala Khan, Jersey City, average teenager who struggles with parents who are very conservative. Zappity zoop, she gets these powers, okay? And she is trying to figure out like what her identities are. And so the first volume 1 is basically struggling with those identities. So is she the new Ms. Marvel? Is she a teenager? Is she Muslim? Or is she just simply inhuman? Has she just like morphed into something else? So if you want her backstory, like how she gets her powers, you're gonna have to read volume 2. Some people complain about that, but I'm like, I like it because it's super diverse. The art is really fun. And Camila as Ms. Marvel is going to do some kick butt stuff. So I'm sure she said you better be ready. And this is a graphic novel, and you can get it at Sora, on Sora. Read it now.
So we thought about this week in terms of a lot of the books that we talked about today are first in a series or part of a series, or have kind of like, you know, in terms of on the come up, there's more books in that kind of like world, the setting of the town that she creates. So we wanted to share 2 awesome series with you today. Did you want to talk about Truly Devious?
I do, by Maureen Johnson. She's also written a series I really love, but if you like her as an author, I recommend reading it all. So this book, Truly Devious, is 3 books. The book, a background here. So Ellingham Academy is a famous private school where learning is a game. And it was opened by Mr. Ellingham for the intellectually brightest. But just before the school opened, many years ago, Mr. Ellingham's wife and daughter are kidnapped or murdered, and the only thing that's left behind is this note that has a poem about all the ways you could kill people. So you need to know that backstory. What happens is Stevie Bell is, of course, coming to Ellingham Academy, and she has decided that she's going to solve this mystery because she loves true crime and she thinks she can do it. And so the story is told through alternating chapters in the past and in the present. It's very fast paced. It's kind of Agatha Christie in the sense that it's set in one house, you know, and you're like trying to figure it all out. Her partners are a very interesting and diverse group of people, which I liked. You have some non-binary kids. One kid is a lesbian, one kid is definitely on the autism spectrum, and one is just antisocial. So you have like this group of fun friends. It's like a really quick read. They're very short chapters, so it would motivated me to keep reading. I don't know what happens because I haven't read the second one, but this is definitely a must read.
I like the art, the cover art too. I think they're like the way that they all kind of, you can tell they're part of a set, but not like super similar. I really liked that. You know, because I'm judging the books by the covers over here.
Who doesn't judge a book by a cover?
So I wanted to talk about the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. There's actually 4 books in this series, and Ember in the Ashes is the first book, and it kind of like sets the scene for this fantasy world. And I guess the best way to explain it is kind of like, I think it was inspired by ancient Rome, but there's also that, like, if you liked Hunger Games and that kind of like dystopian alternate future, you might also like this one. So basically in this world, they are being ruled by the Martial Empire, and scholarly people are like very low class, so much so that they are poor, now illiterate, and have been enslaved. So you have this like the scholars, and then you also have a different group of people called the soldiers, or also called the masks. They are masked soldiers. And so you're introduced to these two like groups of people in this fantasy world through Leia and Elias. I don't know if I'm saying their names right. You know, like when you read things and then you're like, like, wait, that's not how you say it. But in my mind, that's how you said it. And Leia is in the scholars, and Elias is a masked soldier. And you wouldn't think that their like worlds collide, but they end up colliding. The things that I liked about this, it's very gruesome, like graphic action, like kind of like gladiator-esque type. I mean, like, you know, so was Hunger Games. So be prepared for like some torture, gruesome kind of stuff. But the thing that I really liked is that the characters really believed in what they stood for and were like steadfast in their beliefs and their belief system, even when they might have started out as like maybe quieter characters. They really did what they thought and believed and knew to be the right thing to do. So in terms of, a lot of fantasy has like that good versus evil kind of concept, but I felt like this was like very standout to me. So yeah, and a very action-packed, very like, I don't know if you ever watch a TV show or a movie and you're like getting anxious about what's happening, like that, you might have those feelings. But yeah, and there's 4 books. So I'm excited to see, I think she's a cool writer, and I'm excited to see like you said, Maria, I haven't read the rest of the books, so I don't know what happens in the other parts of the world, but these are 2 series that kind of made us think that we would like the rest. And they're available on Sora. I'm going to talk about Sora, I think, in a second. Or maybe I'll talk about it now. We introduced it last week. It is the new ebook platform that the New York City Department of Ed is rolling out for summer reading and hopefully beyond. And it is a sister product to Libby, which we have talked about ad nauseum. And it's a way to read books and audiobooks on your phone. So you can log in with your New York City Department of Ed email and password. We have links on, I'll put the links on the show notes, the instructions, and you can also add Queens Public Library immediately, like that will automatically sync. And then you can add your library card from New York Public and or Brooklyn Public. So you can read from all of these places at once, which is really cool. You can also read AudiobookSYNC. This is the second to last week of AudiobookSYNC. And the 2 books this week are kind of like futuristic. I looked at Fake. It's only about 2 hours. So that's like a really quick read. And then 2140 obviously talks about a futuristic world.
Oh, I read that.
Oh, you did? Did you like it?
Yeah, it's very much like climate fiction.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like what happens when the world's climate gets destroyed and its consequences.
Yeah, so
I didn't quite imagine New York looking like that, but
yeah. And then Marie, you also had a
I just wanted to share with you, this is my local library, and they're doing these teen open book discussions. If you're into them, the information is right here. Just call in and discuss the books. So you can talk to somebody else about books, not just us.
And yeah, we really encourage you to check out Sora. We're really excited about it. I've been listening to a bunch of stuff and reading a bunch of stuff on Sora. And we haven't made our picks for next week. But we'd love to hear what you think we should talk about. You can view our show notes. I will post them, all the books we talked about today. at bit.ly/W2RTW2020. And I'll link all of our announcements there too.
Yes, you will.
Have a great week.
Bye.